Hello, eRank, and welcome to another weekly live Q&A with me, Pam Duthie, and her, timed that badly, Starla. Happy New Year, 2023, and it's great to see you all here because one thing I can guarantee is that somebody watching just now is going to have the best year they've ever had on Etsy.
At least one of you. It's me. It's going to be me.
Oh, it's you. Are you going to open your shop again, Starla?
Well, that shop, no. Alpha Adapt, maybe. No, it won't be the best year ever. But it's because I'm doing other things, cool things.
I know, so busy. I actually just opened my shop back up again today, and I wasn't excited to open it because I've got so many other things I want to do. But gotta have a shop.
Gotta start. You have to pull the Band-Aid off. So guys, welcome. I see that there's a couple of you over on YouTube, and I see Debbie on Facebook. So hopefully more of you over on Facebook. There's 12 of you. So you better start typing into the chat. I don't think that we really have any news or announcements today, do we?
No idea. We're just back into it, guys. So yeah, I don't think we broke anything, and I don't think there's any new things. We kept it nice and quiet over the holidays. I hope everyone had an awesome time, spent time with the people they love, and not too much time dealing with angry customers. So.
Oh God. Yeah, I've seen quite a few crazy customer stories in the Facebook group. So
Yeah.
hopefully that wasn't any of you.
Well, the good news is I got my Star Seller badge back from all the messages I got.
Oh God, yeah.
That was fun.
Well, it looks like we have a couple questions, and assuming that at least one of you that's watching is new here, make sure that if you're ever unsure, that you'll be able to make it live, or you have a question and you want to make sure that you get an answer, but you're not sure if you're going to be able to be here. Every Wednesday, there is a post pinned to the very top of the eRank group on Facebook where you can submit that question early, and that way you can always catch the replay either in the Facebook group. You can go to our media tab and find it, or you can go to the YouTube channel and find the replay there as well. But let's see. We've got a couple different questions. I have a question about the data protection. I saw in another group a discussion, and now I doubt if it's legit what I'm doing. When a customer order came in, I always sent back for confirmation a message through Etsy and an email. Is it legit to send the email according to the data protection rules? So I assume that you're referring to GDPR. So what you are not allowed to do is take your customer's email address and send them unsolicited messages or add them to an email list without their consent. In the US, you have to be conscious of the CAN Spam Act. If you're sending emails to customers in the EU, you have to be aware of GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. And when it comes to sending just a quick email to your customer, you don't need to send them a confirmation email. Etsy already does that. That's not your job. You can do that on Etsy. They're going to get an email anyway of that conversation that you sent them. So they're going to be able to see it in their email anyway. Now, if you have a customer who placed an order, we'll say for like a custom engraved necklace, and they didn't put anything in the personalization box at checkout, and you've waited and you've messaged them on Etsy and they haven't responded to you, and you need to know what to engrave on their necklace because the shipping date is coming up. In that case, it's not a big deal to send them an email saying, hey, I've been trying to reach out to you on Etsy. I really want to make your product for you. You bought it. I want to send it to you, but I need to know what you want engraved. That's okay. So in a way, they're correct. You can't market to them. You can't send them coupons. You can't add them to your email list. You can't message them and say, hey, you might like these new products that I'm adding to my shop. Those messages need to be about a specific transaction unless they've opted willfully into something like an email list where you can perpetually market to them. And I personally like MailChimp.com if you want a free option for a mailing list. And then, you can always offer them on Etsy after they make a purchase. You can say, hey, for 20% off your next order, you can get an automatic discount code by signing up for my email list. And then you could always just, set your confirmation email that they receive once they opt in to include a coupon. And Etsy says that we can do that. They don't care if we, ask them if they want to join an email list, and you can put your email list link in your listings and in your shop announcement. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I knew you knew about this thing.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's we seem to have two sides, don't we? Some people are so busy spamming their customers and they don't think of the law, and other people worry about it too much. You
Mhm.
can communicate with your customer if it's to do with the order. By ordering from you, they've opted in to a communication about the order. And at the end of that, you can have like, would you like to opt into my mailing list or something?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Anthony's over on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi,
Guys, we better behave ourselves. No letting
Anthony.
away secrets.
Let's see. And then we had one more from the Wednesday post. Christina asked, how can a listing have a 98% visibility score, but or not show up at all on Spotted on Etsy? Ooh. Are you frozen, Pam, or are you just thinking really hard?
She's frozen.
Is she frozen? Oh no. I thought she was just holding really still. Let's go ahead and give it just a second, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want the stream to end. Anthony, I am there watching you two. Oh, there she is. She's
Ah.
she's
I'm Disco
unsaturated.
Lights. Oh, I'm back. Yes. Oh,
Okay.
that's Anthony did that. Whatever he did, it's him being there. He scared my computer away.
It's your fault, Anthony. You froze her. Did you get that? Did you hear the question?
I Yeah, I got most of it. Yes. um,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. So yeah, there's two different things. There is what's visibility and what's spotted on Etsy, because there are a couple of different things. Visibility, we do actually have a video on that in the eRank YouTube channel, but pretty much visibility isn't predicting the future. It's not saying if your listings are ranking well or if they're going to show up. It's just telling you that I'm trying to remember the wording now. See, it's been 2 weeks we've been off. It's comparing your average daily views that your listings already had to other listings on Etsy. So if you have a visibility of 50%, you're getting the same number of average daily views as is average for listings. If you've got a visibility of 90%, that's saying that you're on from the history of that listing, the average daily views are much higher than what is normal. So it's doing good. It's not saying where the views have come from, though. You might have gone viral on social media, and lots of people are coming in and finding your listing on social media. So that way, you would be getting a lot of views without any ranking on Etsy at all. Spotted on Etsy is a different thing. Now, this is in two parts as well now that we've added the Google Analytics to it. So if you have Google Analytics connected up to it, this might be telling you where actual people found you. So you will be getting some views from there. But I think she said you're not getting any spotted on Etsy. So if you're not getting any spotted on Etsy, what that is spotted on Etsy in general is like a rank checker. Once per night, eRank goes into Etsy and searches on Etsy for your listings for the keywords that you've added to the spotted on Etsy, and as a bonus for all the other keywords that we have in our database. It looks on the first 2 pages of Etsy for all of those keywords and shows if it sees your listings. So it's saying your listings are ranking on the first 2 pages of Etsy. So it's very possible that, Starla's whoop-de-doo da keyword. You can put a keyword in that nobody's searching for and there's no competition. you could that way you would rank for it and you would show up on Spotted on Etsy, but it means nothing. You would get no views because no one's showing up for it. And and the other way round is you can be getting views from places that aren't from search. So you could be seeing a high number of views, but you're getting nothing showing up on Spotted on Etsy because they're not coming via keywords. So they're two separate tools going on there. So if you're not having anything spotted on Etsy, what that kind of tells me is, firstly, you want to make sure you've got keywords set up to be monitored, and you want to just make sure, go in and look at what keywords you're using in your listings. Are they things that are too competitive? There's too many listings, you can't rank for in search for them. Are they things that nobody's searching for? Make sure they're good keywords, and hopefully you'll get even more views. But sounds like the listing's doing well anyway. Wherever people are seeing it from, they're clicking on it because you're getting good visibility. So it kind of sounds like it might be a good listing, depending on how old it is. I mean, if you've just posted the listing and asked your mum and all your aunts to click on it, you might have a high visibility already. So
Yeah, she had said, I've been trying to figure out how my listing's getting seen so much and selling quite well, but according to eRank, it does not show up in the first 500 pages. Maybe you're not showing up in the first 500 pages for the term that you're monitoring, but maybe you're getting all those sales and getting all that traffic from a keyword that you didn't realize you were getting traffic from.
yeah,
So
I would totally hook up your Google Analytics if you haven't done that.
they, I
Um,
don't think they can. I think January 1st,
oh, drat, yes, I forgot about that.
yeah, I
Yes, if
think it's done now.
ah, yes, if you had Google Analytics set up to your shop, connect it to your eRank, but it will still work that way. But yeah, that's a total pain. But look into your stats on Etsy and see where the views are coming from. It sounds like you're doing really good. And if you see keywords there, pop them into the Spotted on Etsy to monitor. They might be keywords that you didn't think of, but you're doing well for.
Um, Anthony, if you're still here, let us know if by chance you know if the ability to create new universal analytics properties ended up going away on January 1st. I know that you had talked about it, so I'm curious to know if they ended up getting rid of it. I mean, if even if they haven't, it could be any minute now that they do. So, and until Etsy starts accepting Google Analytics 4, we don't really have a choice. So, be sure to give Etsy feedback, guys. I recommend tagging them on Twitter. Be nice. But I've noticed that they actually seem to be pretty responsive on Twitter. If you tag them, just say, "Hey, Etsy, when are you going to integrate with Google Analytics 4? I would love to have
Yeah.
some
That
more."
that's a great tip for sort of any company. You can mail them directly and they don't do a whole lot or it takes a while, but if you at them on Twitter or something, they go into damage limitation because everyone else can see what you've said and suddenly they're like fantastic customer support.
Yeah, because it's public. It is, everybody can see where they've, been tagged on Twitter. So they're gonna try to show off. And Anthony said testing right now. So far, it looks like I can. I'll know for sure shortly. Awesome. Okay,
Oh,
so
awesome. Good news. So if you haven't done it yet, try and get your shop connected right now because that is going away as far as we know. And Etsy hasn't given us the ability to connect up the right way. So as Starla says, just nicely ask Etsy when this is going to happen because we really do need it.
yeah.
Um, and I
Um,
don't know who that was, but saying my Google Analytics is still working. If you've connected up historically, that shouldn't immediately switch off. What we heard was they were discontinuing the ability to connect up a new universal analytics. What we've got just now is still working, but I think that was
till
getting
summer.
discontinued in the summer. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So we've got
July,
it for
I
a
believe.
little while.
Yeah.
So Etsy really needs to get its finger out and give us something before the summer, else we lose all that tasty data.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that they are. They know that this is something that we need. Anthony said yes. So it looks like you guys still, if you haven't been able to connect your Google Analytics accounts, you should still be able to do that. However, they make it very, very hard. They're going to tell you, oh, Google Analytics 4, Google Analytics 4. You need to make sure that you find the teeny tiny little itty bitty, almost hidden checkbox that allows you to you toggle it on for universal analytics. And I've had so many people say, it's not there, it's not there. And even I told Anthony, it's not there. And he's like, no, it's there. And then for my tutorial video that I made, Anthony had to show me where it was. So it is there. You guys should probably just set it up right away. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the eRank blog that Anthony did that talks about how to get that connected up. And I will link that both on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, I also put in our video that Pam was talking about a little bit ago about visibility scores, because that might also be something that you guys want to look a little bit more into. So let me go ahead and pop these into the chat for you guys.
Yeah, Anthony did a great step-by-step and troubleshooting and everything for that, because I know a lot of people had trouble with Google Analytics. And if you had Google Analytics set up words, if you've had Google Analytics set up for ages, but you're trying to connect it to eRank and you're having trouble, also check the step-by-step guide. For years, there was tons of bad advice about how to do it. I had the same. I'd set it up, and when I tried to set it up to eRank, the team had to sit down and help me get it all sorted because we'd been given bad advice.
Yeah, and when I was I created, in fact, let me find my video as well. I created a video on how to set it up. And I was trying to do research on how to set it up just so I could make sure that my video was accurate. And even all of the guides that I found online told you to enter the URL for your Etsy shop. But your Etsy shop is not the website. Etsy is the website. So all of these guys that said to actually put in your Etsy shop URL were incorrect.
Yeah, I think I got that right. But the other thing was the thing that Anthony showed us a little while ago, which is adding the right code to tell
Mhm.
Google Analytics to track your actual keywords. I'd set it up and I was getting nothing like for years, and nobody was given the good advice there.
All right. So, bumping back over to the Facebook chat, Scott asked, in the Etsy messaging system, if you get a message that does not require a reply and you send it to spam so it doesn't ding your star seller, will all future messages from that person go to spam? I'm wondering, as I get messages from other sellers regarding orders I've placed and they don't need a reply, but I don't want all of their messages to be hidden from me. For emails and most inboxes, if you flag something as spam, all future messages go to spam, but I'm not sure. Oh no, Pam's frozen again. No. Oh, now she's green and I can't hear her. She's green and she's muted. Well, I'm just going to keep talking until he's like, what in the world? I'll just keep talking until we figure it out. But yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, now it's just me. I'm not entirely sure. But you could always get somebody else with an Etsy shop to maybe help you test it. You could find, another community member, have them message you once, send their message to spam, and then just have them message you again and see what happens. Just, if you've got somebody that you can kind of collaborate on it with, that might be better than potentially missing messages that you need from somebody. But yeah, Scott, I hope that helped. Let's see. Selena, can eRank add a shipping calculator? Hey, Anthony, can eRank add a shipping calculator? So that there's a lot of, but my first question is, what do you need it to do? because ultimately eRank would have to be able to identify a lot of different things in order to give you a result. They would have to know what service you're using. They would have to know the weight of your product. We would have to know which of the individual, like, she's back, which of the individual shipping, services, if you're using like first class, if you're using, you know, domestic, I can't remember all the different flat rate. We would have to know all of that as well to be able, and then the weight of your products, the dimensions of your boxes. It sounds like something, Anthony, that you would need to take a peek at other websites like Pirate Ship that do it, and that have all the different options where you can purchase labels in order to actually give them a number. And then you would have to make sure that you're also hitting, USPS, Royal Mail, yada yada. So it sounds like a kind of tricky tool to build, but maybe, Anthony, if you've got like a pen or your whiteboard, maybe it's something we could look into, because I do think that that would be really useful. I'm just not sure how it would be possible, but I'm sure it is, because there's plenty of websites that do it when you are purchasing shipping labels.
Yeah, sorry, I totally missed all of that being green and purple for a short while. No idea how that happened.
Yeah, Anthony said probably not something uh that we could add easily. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because it would have to cover so many things, and it would have so many tiny moving parts. And then, you know, everybody knows that several times a year shipping prices change, and then that would mess the tool all up, and then everybody is going to be mad at eRank. Oh, eRank's not right, eRank's inaccurate, so that one sounds tricky. Let's see. Victoria asked, I'm handmade, one of a kind. Does this affect my ranking? I do not have quantity and I do not renew the product. So, what you can't build is a listing quality score, which is one of the factors that Etsy looks at when they rank products in search. If they see something is selling a lot, they're going to show that listing to more people, because not only is the seller going to make money, Etsy's going to make money, and they want to recommend bestsellers. What you can build is your customer and marketplace experience score, which is basically the sum total of your shop, and you can build that by making sure that you're getting good reviews and not getting in trouble for things like copyright strikes, and you're following all the rules. um, and it is going to be harder for you. I'm not going to lie, it is going to be harder to rank and search, because Etsy does really really like to see those repeat sales of items. Now, I do have a question for you, and I ask this to every one of a kind seller. Is there anything that you could make that complements your one of a kind products, but that you can list more than one of, just so you have a couple products that are perpetually available? So you said that I guess you didn't say your type of product. If you did paintings, could you offer prints of your paintings that sell over and over? Could you go through a print on demand service and put them on mugs? If you do one of a kind, beautiful wire wrapped, intricate pendants, could you make some little beaded bracelets that you could easily, string together really, really quick and be able to list more than one of, just so you've got a couple listings in your shop that can perpetually sell? Because when I'm shopping on Etsy, if I find a bracelet I like, and I add that to my cart, I'm also going to go to the shop and see if they've got something else I like too. I'm not just going to stick that in my cart. I want to see what else that shop has. And at that point, maybe they find all of your beautiful handmade one of a kind products and they stick one of those in their cart as well. So, um, those are just a couple ideas. Also, we've had sellers who they'll make like amethyst wire wrapped pendants, for example, and natural amethyst is never going to look exactly the same, but because the stone is similar enough, they can list it as the same listing and say, due to the unique nature of the gemstones we use, the product that you receive might vary slightly from the one pictured. But because it's still, mostly the same, they're able to use one listing. So those are a couple ideas.
Yeah, one of a kind is more than possible. There are some things Etsy told us a while ago in the article Your Search Questions Answered, where they gave the idea that you can sort of build up authority for a keyword. So whatever you're making, just so long as it's on a theme, you're aiming for the same niche, then Etsy did say that for one of a kind and vintage, when you create a new listing, it's looking at how other listings for similar keywords did. So if you do paintings, do do a range of a landscape in Tuscany paintings or something like that. Make a few. I've also seen some really good one of a kind shops that they do YouTube basically, or do other social media, but I see them on YouTube the most. And they will film the creation of their one of a kind item, and then that gets all the SEO of people finding it that way through YouTube, and then it goes up on their Etsy shop. And these people, like there was one I looked at last year, he was making resin dragon eggs, and I think he had nearly 4,000 sales from not being on Etsy for very long, and he had 6 items in his shop. But because he was driving his own traffic from being the artist that people watched him create the things, he couldn't keep them in his shop. And as Starla said, can you make what you have your thing, can you make it again and again? There's something, it's actually in video creation, what people call hero hub and help, and this is the type of things you create. So your one of a kind pieces are your hero pieces. They're the things, they don't have a very good conversion, but people come to your shop again and again to go, oh, I really love that. I've got a friend who does beautiful paintings, and you go again and again to her shop, you follow her on social media, you watch her making the things, you go, I can't afford hundreds of pounds for her painting. Oh, but look, she's put it on a keychain, it's on a mug, it's on a journal cover. So I'll buy a few of them, and you start collecting it, and all your friends buy things for you from that person. So that one listing sells again and again and again. So those that you have your hero item, that's the big thing that people really have to think about buying. But you have the stuff that's your bread and butter that feeds you, that you can keep on making and reselling. So either it's a little thing that you can remake, relist again and again, or it's something you've reproduced in a simpler form like print on demand. And you can also have help content. You can make tutorials, or you can make little kits for people to be able to create whatever you're making, because a big chunk of people on Etsy are crafters, and they might come and see what you're making and go, that's really cool, I'd like to make it, where do I get all the supplies? And you can make money from selling the supplies. And everyone who's a crafter will probably know, you have a room full of crafts that you've bought, you find out you can't actually do them, and you go back to the person and buy the thing in the first place a couple of years down the line. So it's all different ways to do it.
Yeah, I just went and Victoria, I was actually sitting here hoping that you couldn't see me snooping through my glasses. Um, she does like
I
very
was wondering why you were looking shifty there.
I am looking shifty. She does very high-end, expensive resin pour over turntables that she sells for around $100. So those are her one-of-a-kind pieces that would be very difficult to replicate. But then she also sells candles that she can replicate. So as long as you've got the candles, which I assume that the candles could sit on the turntables, there's all kinds of things that you could do there. Then it sounds like you're doing exactly what we
Yeah,
suggest, because
and
candles.
resin pour TikTok, make TikToks.
Oh, people love those, are so trendy. They're in the satisfying videos. People watch them to relax for some reason. Just
Oh,
sitting
I
and
love
staring at
them.
the
I
resin
watched, like,
boards.
resin pour and acrylic paint pouring. I watch all that, and I'm like, I wish I wasn't so messy and I could make things like that, but I watch other people do it. It is
I
so cool.
I'll watch the ones where they peel the resin like things out of the mold, because it
Mhm.
always looks way better than what I imagine it to. I do like those, so I guess it's in the same realm. All right, Cynthia asked, What are your thoughts on AI chat GPT and creating hashtags and product descriptions?
Is that like AI like chat robots? I hate them with a passion. Um, basically, I'm doing that because I answer some of the customer emails on eRank, and I see some people have automated responses to everything, and it's so obviously well, right. It's a slightly different thing. It's not AI. It's just Etsy having canned responses. But
Right.
who's
Well,
contacted Etsy and had replies that don't make sense until they're 4 emails down because Etsy just sends a canned response?
I think that AI for your hashtags, no. The reason I say that is because it takes a human brain to be able to do your product research and, you know, be able to look into your niche. And if you're just generating out random hashtags, you're probably not going to find any success with them. For your product descriptions, possibly. I have used AI generating tools for my YouTube titles, but I don't just take the AI generated title and slap it in. I spend time, I use it as a springboard. Maybe I didn't find the best way to phrase something. Maybe what I want to tell people in my YouTube video is how to make sales on Etsy, in 2023. And I would call it how to make sales on Etsy in 2023, which sounds really lame, but if I put that into an AI tool, they might tell me to put how to make more money and live comfortably on your Etsy income in 2023. And that's a video that people would click on and watch. So, yes, for product descriptions, sure, but give it a look over. I have gotten some real dumb results from my own AI tool that I use. Um, it can be a great way to save time if you need to write a gazillion product descriptions and you just want to, get things done. I don't know exactly, what tool you're using, but yeah, I would just make sure that,
Yeah. Use them with common sense. I just
exactly.
actually, over the holidays, noticed that Canva has started its own AI writing thing. They call it magic something or other.
Oh, yeah, I
And
haven't played
yeah.
with it yet.
Yeah, I did a little bit. What it's really cool, I just put something like, 5 reasons your Etsy shop will fail, and it comes up with a little few bullet points and stuff, and it's like, "Hey, that's actually not bad." But as Starla says, you've gotta read it and use common sense. So it can help you augment what you're saying and maybe say it a little bit cooler, and there are some really good tools out there, but uh, I don't think any of them are quite ready to be let alone without quite a lot of checking.
Yeah, Cynthia said AI definitely needs to be tweaked and reworded, and she said Canva's AI is really cool, so that's awesome. All right, over on YouTube, Obsessions by Crystal asked, "Can you create items for that purpose that isn't exactly your art but related? Example stickers." And Crystal makes really pretty, intricate wire wrapped pendants that are one of a kind, but she does like what we talked about, where she's able to list more than one, and she actually subs out the thumbnail to make sure that the photos reflect it, but she can still, reuse the same listing. Crystal, yeah, for your products in particular, I would say that because you've got more of like a metaphysical audience, earthy audience, probably some witchy audience. I think that your audience might love some little different crystal like planner stickers or water bottle stickers that have like pictures of the gemstones. I see stuff like that all the time on Etsy and even some of the like, trendy like popular shopping websites. I see like prints of crystals and gemstones and things like that. So if you were to tie it into your business in that way, as long as the target customer is the same and it makes sense, I don't see anything wrong with it, because maybe somebody can't afford one of your pendants. Maybe they go and they're like, "Oh, this is so pretty, but I'm broke." But they're stickers. I can buy these, it would give you an option to toss something in your shop that's a little less pricey. That way you're able to hit some people who might otherwise not be able to shop from you.
Yeah, that's something we talk about a lot, is when people say find a niche in your Etsy shop and stick to it, it doesn't mean keep just sell this exact thing. It's more a case, and Starla has a whole video on her brand planet things. I'm saying that wrong, I think. But it's more a case of getting to know your tribe, your people, that so that if you imagine it was a physical shop, if they walked into your shop, well, I can already imagine, I've walked into a million times these kind of metaphysical shops. Can someone walk in and go, oh, I love everything in here, pretty much. It doesn't all just have to be pendants. What other things are they interested in? So that totally works. Whereas if you had pendants along with shoes, along with other things and food, and what you would walk into the shop and go, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is a bit weird.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, does everybody have like, one of those like little pop-up shops in the mall, or, um I feel like around here, like those little metaphysical stores that have crystal jewelry and candles and incense, and they've got all that stuff, and you walk in and the whole store just has its own vibe to it, and all those products fit really, really well together. So that's a good example of it. Um, let's see.
So I've totally lost chat. So
Oh,
sorry,
that's
I can't help here at all. Yeah.
Linda over on Facebook asked, I'm wondering how much weight Etsy puts on our sales versus reviews ratio. I never really thought about it, but mine is 40% of reviews from my sales. Is that a good number? Is this something Etsy adds to the mix of how your shop is rated slash shown? I know listing quality scores are the holy grail, but I sell mostly one of a kind. Um, so I don't think that if there's some sale to review ratio, it's not anything that Etsy's like, oh, you must have this percent of reviews for how many sales you make. Like there's nothing out there. They might, um, but 40% review ratio, to me, that sounds pretty great, actually.
Yeah.
That
If
sounds really good.
if Etsy has anything in the background, and they do like they like reviews, so reviews are good. But if they had anything, it would be compared to other similar items.
Hmm.
It's never like the Etsy wide. So all you have to look at is what you've got for just now, what things make it better, what things make it worse. And that's always a good thing to be working on improving. It's a great thing, and reviews definitely help your shop. But yeah, 40%. I think last time we spoke about this, people sort of a really good average was about 1 in 3 sales to reviews. But it really depends on your niche. If you are selling stickers, if you're selling like instant downloads, people come, purchase the thing, download it, go off, do their own thing, your reviews are likely to be very low. Whereas if you're selling wedding dresses where people spend months working with you for a totally unique thing, you're much more likely to get reviews. So the ratio is very much going to depend on what you make and who you sell it to.
Yeah, and she had asked, is this something Etsy adds to the mix of how your shop is shown slash rated? So that would be your customer and marketplace experience score. And they do say that reviews are one of the things that they look at. They look at your overall sales and your reviews. And since you can't really build listing quality scores with one of a kind items, that those reviews are going to be really important to you, because that's how Etsy knows that you're a trustworthy shop. They can see what people are buying and what they're enjoying. And I'm sure that, just speculation here, but Etsy's just tying all of that together with other items that are similar. So if they notice that, okay, we'll say all of her items are gems. We're using gemstone necklaces a lot today. All of her items are gemstone necklaces, and they're all one of a kind, and people really seem to like gemstone necklaces from this shop. You know, maybe we experiment by showing some more gemstone necklaces to people. And obviously, it is easier when you're able to build a listing quality score, but Etsy isn't going to make it impossible for one of a kind sellers to succeed. That wouldn't be fair. It is a little bit harder.
Yeah, not Etsy specifically, but algorithms. in general, you'll have seen this. Most of you are on Facebook or YouTube. Well, all of you are on Facebook or YouTube right now. So you'll have seen, if you like a certain thing, the ads and the posts you start to see are based on what you've liked. This is how algorithms are heading towards. So you will find, hopefully Etsy will be getting smarter and smarter, and it'll be going, oh, people who like that kind of thing also really like this kind of thing. So yeah, it's good to be really clear what your niche is, and if people are liking it, buying it, being happy with it, giving good reviews, then Etsy can really start to be like, hey, this is a great shop for this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've got it is okay. So we've got a little under 20 minutes, and Samantha's question is the only one that's left. So, guys, make sure that if you have a question, you get those in. Um, Otherwise, we'll just have to really stretch out Samantha's question.
But yeah, guys, this is your chance to ask all these questions, and I'm sure most of us come into the new year all buoyed up and ready to go. So let us know what we can help you with.
Yeah. And before I don't think that it was a question, Samantha, because I don't see a question mark in it. But before I read Samantha's, Jennifer had said Facebook's algorithm seems to count even slowing your scroll. I get some strange stuff in my feed sometime. That is so true. If you slow down, it's because you see something. I saw it was lace man thongs, like little flowery lace man thongs. And I of course I slowed down. I took a screenshot of that, and now I get lots of ads for lace man thongs, which
Yeah,
I
you
haven't.
gotta be really careful.
I might, maybe I could get some for Mark, but but I personally am not in the market for lace man thongs, but Facebook seems to think that I am. And I didn't click the link or anything. It was just a slow scroll. So Jennifer, I do think that you're right. And I think it's the same if you watch like a full, a video from a brand. I think if you set through, a certain amount of that video, I'm assuming that they probably take note of that as well, because I've gotten repeated, video ads from brands where I've sat and watched the full video. So,
Yeah, both Facebook and YouTube, my understanding is, do count even if it just plays on the screen a little bit. So
mhm.
that hover over on YouTube, that actually counts as something. And Facebook, if you pause long enough for the video to, I think it's like 5 seconds, that also counts. And guys, you're gonna want to follow Starla on Instagram now to see her holiday pictures with Mark and his new outfit that she's gonna be buying him.
Yes, coming to the Handmade Elf is Instagram. Oh, Samantha's was a thank you. She had said vacation mode. I stay open all year and extend shipping time. At Christmas, I close on the 18th and reopen around the 28th. This year, with Royal Mail strikes, I closed on the 12th. I couldn't risk posting any further, and I realized I needed the mental break and time with my family. I stayed closed for 3 weeks in the end. I was scared when I reopened my shop. I activated all listings at once and got an order in 10 minutes. The last 3 days, I'm matching last year's sales. I improved my Valentine's Day listings in October with eRank, and I'm now so thankful. Sometimes you need to step away from work, and you should. Absolutely. And I had a lot of sellers say the same thing, that,
Oh, yeah.
they closed for vacation and then they opened up and they immediately started getting some sales. So that's
Yeah.
great.
I've just opened, but it's worth it, especially I'm sure, well, I know everywhere had trouble with the mail, but the UK was a nightmare this year. So I think I shut beginning of December. I was just like, no, can't be doing with this anymore. And it was so nice. Okay, I did have to deal with all the customers that hadn't got their items yet. And yeah, I discovered how the purchase protection system works in depth. So that was interesting. But yeah, it was so nice not to be getting new orders coming in, because it would have just been unhappy customers. So fingers crossed, everything's good now it's open, but sometimes it's worth it. I mean, literally, if you stay open and give yourself the headache, you're probably going to not be firing on all cylinders in January anyway.
Yeah. I needed a break this season. I was happy to just step away. Um, Linda said they show me ads of my own items sometimes. What's up with that? Because you're looking at your own items occasionally. You're in your shop, you're working, and Etsy is identifying that you're looking at those items just like if you were looking at, a bunch of mugs on Etsy, they would probably show you those mugs to remind you that they exist. So
Yeah,
that's
or through Facebook ads, it's possibly a good thing. It's however they're targeting, however those ads from Etsy are targeting, they're saying this is the kind of person that we think is going to like this. So, in general, probably the type of person you are is your target market. So it's a good thing.
yeah.
Just don't click on it. Don't be, well, you can offsite ads you can, but I wouldn't. It's not going to cost you, but I wouldn't be doing that.
All right, over on YouTube, Julie asked, "Is it worth paying Etsy advertising or Facebook advertising?" Julie, it's kind of the same question of, is it worth it to invest in the stock market? Some people are going to say, yeah. Some people are going to say, no, I lost all my money. It's worth it as long as there are other factors in place. If you pay for Etsy ads, but your photos are awful, then it doesn't matter because nobody's going to click on those listings, even if they're right, in their face. And I'm not saying that your photos are awful. It's just, something that you have to think about. Um, Facebook advertising seems to be pretty hit or miss right now, unless you're willing to invest a lot of money. I think that you're going to get your money's worth, a lot faster on Etsy, because Facebook advertising, and I've been experimenting with it for my book that I published, and you really, really have to put a lot of money into it to see any trickle from it. It seems like they are really trying to target big businesses right now. They're not concerned with little businesses. So Etsy ads, sure. If you notice that they're doing, well for you, awesome. But if you notice that they're eating up all your money, don't be afraid to turn them off.
Yeah. I've been looking at Facebook ads a little bit. I'm not an expert. This is just what I've been seeing. Firstly, as Starla says, they're getting really expensive. Part of the reason for this is so many entrepreneurs over the past few years have been saying, here is my get rich business plan. And it always involves running these ads. Um, and
Yep.
what happens there is, well, these people are pushing much harder themselves because they're seeing their sales drop and they've got a huge following of people who are all doing the exact same thing. When there's a lot of people purchasing ads, the ad price goes up, unfortunately. So the ad price is pretty high just now. Also, now this is not something I'm a total expert on at all, but I wouldn't be going for Facebook ads for your Etsy shop because there's lots of things you can't do. Like you can't, I don't know it totally, but you can't attach a pixel so you don't get the tracking and everything that you should be doing on your Facebook ads through your Etsy shop. Um, it would probably be better to do that for your own website or even your own Facebook business page or those kind of things. And you're unlikely to make a whole lot of money from it. Etsy ads, we've spoke about this quite a lot on here, and it is absolutely a gamble. Look, don't just switch on adverts and expect them to make money. You have to work with them a bit. So look at what's working, look at what keywords are working. You can go into Etsy ads and turn off specific keywords if they aren't good for you. You can choose which listings you advertise. You can choose how much money you're going to advertise, and don't put more money in than you want, than you're happy, not happy, than you're able to lose, because there's no guarantee you're going to get any sales at all. But before you just give up and go, that cost me a lot of money, go off in the huff, dig into your stats and see what can be learnt from the money you spent, because it can be worth more than just sales. You can maybe learn something about what keywords are good or what type of listings are good. But yeah, for a lot of people, neither of them are going to be worth the money. For some people do amazing with them.
Yeah, it's lottery tickets. Think of it like gambling. It might do well, it might not, but don't bet your lunch money on it.
Yeah, and don't take any advice. If you're gonna take any advice, look at experts, don't listen to us generally. But if you're gonna take any advice, look at stuff that's really in the past 3 months, in the past 6 months. Don't look at stuff that was talked about 5 years ago. Etsy ads were amazing 5 years ago. I could make 10, 20, 30 times my money on Etsy ads. I can't do that now. And Facebook was pretty similar. Back in the past, you could make lots of money on it. It's a different thing now.
Yeah, yeah, that's like I remember on Facebook a couple years ago, all you had to do was boost your post, you know? I'll just boost this post, and
Yeah,
now nobody recommends boosting posts anymore. So, all right, let's see. Linda said, I took advice from last chat and went through and updated my thumbnails rather than taking all new photos. I didn't realize how crappy some were. A quick and easy fix, I think. Yeah, sometimes it's just the thumbnail. That's a weird, weird thing that you don't think about, but it doesn't even mean that your original thumbnail was bad. It's sometimes the customers are just weird. Like my example where I talked about I had a pendant that was customized in orange, and then I literally just put the other option that was available in blue, which it had been available all along, but because it was an orange one in the thumbnail, no one was clicking. But when I switched it to the blue option, it started taking off just because the customers, even though they had the option to select blue all along, um, they like to see, they like to see products in context. So,
absolutely. And I have some listings that my photographs are pre-2010. They hurt my soul. I know how to make so much better photographs than them, but the customer decides what's a good photograph. And I've taken some beautiful photographs with the best lighting and everything perfect about them. Customers just don't like them. So you have to experiment and try different things and see what it is that the customers like.
yeah. And I've been talking a lot on my own channel about Christina Nicole. She did some blogs for eRank, but she's an awesome photography coach. And she's got a YouTube channel. And one of the things that she teaches is how to take really great smartphone photography, and not have to use a bunch of editing software. She does it like how to actually take that photo so it's good and ready to go, and it doesn't require a bunch of extra like touching up. So I recommend trying to find her blogs over in the eRank blogs, but I will go ahead and link her YouTube channel as well. It's just by Christina Nicole.
Yeah, great photos are such an important thing. And Christine, lots of these people, you can find somebody that just inspires you just to make that little tweak to make a different thing. I paid for a course a couple of years ago, and I found I didn't learn anything good in the course about taking great pictures, but it just inspired me on a different direction to take my pictures. Something that he wasn't actually even teaching in the course, but I was just like, wow, yeah. And that was the thing that got me going and got some really great photos. So.
Yeah, it sends your brain into new avenues, and it that's why I like listening to YouTube videos, even if you're working or cleaning or doing the dishes. Turn things on. If you're packing orders, turn on, different videos. Pam and I have tons. You can just, if you click on one, they'll just perpetually keep playing or go into our playlists, and turn one of those on, because even if it's a video from 5 years ago, I might not, if you ask me about it, I won't remember what I covered in that video. Pam isn't going to remember what she covered in her old
I
videos.
don't know what I did yesterday.
Exactly. But that one little thing you might hear could send you down a rabbit hole and make all the difference. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I've always got something playing in the background, and sometimes you half hear something, you have to dive in, it's like, "What is that they said?" Even if it's not even videos that are always relevant to what you're thinking about. Uh, just a little tip and you're like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that I can totally make that work for my shop or for something."
Yeah, I keep a notebook, like, close by so I can hurry up and write something down real quick.
I've gone into the 21st century. I feel really proud of myself. Not a Canva affiliate, but Canva have just started doing whiteboards, and I've got a whiteboard of all my ideas, and I just go and make little Post-it notes on that, and I have them ready so I can write things down. The only thing, right, I did the 21st century equivalent of walking into the kitchen and forgetting why you'd gone there. I had an idea. I opened the tab that had Canva on, and then I just stopped there and was like, I forgot why I've come into this tab. It's like, I forgot the idea and the time it took to open a tab.
Yeah, I will send messages to myself, or it'll be late at night and he and I'll be tossing ideas, usually funny ideas for YouTube channels and stuff. But we'll go back and look at our notes and like, what was this? I don't remember what the note that we made last night was something like shiny man. And I'm like, if you don't put more context, we are never gonna remember what shiny man meant.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Julie
also, writing things down, my handwriting is so bad that sometimes it's just like, "Is that even English?"
Julie, she had one more question. She's sliding in on her belly at the
Last
last
one,
minute.
yay.
She said, "Have you found videos have boosted sales at all?" So I assume you mean listing videos. Listing videos are for your customers. They're not helping with the algorithm. They're not helping your search placement. They're helping your customers to better understand your products. They're never going to hurt. Um, they're never going to hurt you unless it's the most unflattering video ever, where there's like, I don't know, like dirt in the background or a bug or something, but in most cases what you're doing is you're making that product a little bit more tangible, because the customer is only seeing like a flat image on a screen. It's not real to them in that moment. They can't touch it, they can't understand it, they can't figure out how big it is. Your videos can help do things like that. If it's a fuzzy blanket, you can run your fingers through the fuzz and show, and help that person kind of learn more about your product. So
Yeah.
if you've got time, Julie, yeah, get some listing videos in your listings.
It's hard to prove the benefit, but the benefit's there.
Hmm.
My number one bestseller just now that really blew up over Christmas and has a conversion rate about 3 times of anything in my shop has a video. But that video has also got me more sales because it was a cool video that I put on YouTube. I put it on Instagram. I put it on TikTok. So yeah, it's good. It helps to convert things. I am sitting waiting impatiently for the Etsy Explore to happen so I can get videos up there. But as Starla says, it's not going to rank you higher directly. Etsy's not going to say, "Oh, that's a cool video. Let's rank this person." But if someone clicks on your shop, or what they can do is hover over in the search page and your listing comes to life when other people's don't. I mean, that makes me stop and go, oh, that's kind of cool. So it might gain an extra click. So your click through rate might get a bit better, which Etsy's going to like and start to rank you higher slowly over time. And then when they come into your listing and they can fall in love with you running your hands through the fur, and just like people can then go, I really want that jacket. That looks so awesome. So it can increase your conversion by a tiny bit, which will rank you a tiny bit further. You'll get seen a little bit more, and it snowballs so slowly that you don't necessarily realize it was your video that did it. But the video is an extra piece in the puzzle that can totally do it. But I have been talking to a lot of people at Etsy who know about these things. And whenever I say I'm telling people they should make videos, they all smile at me and they're like, yes, do that. So they're not telling me anything. I'm not telling you any secrets, but Etsy's liking videos.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you join the eRank group down below. That way, if for any reason you can't make it on Thursday when we host these, you can find our post on Wednesday, get your question in early, and cut in line. And that goes for all of you in the Facebook group as well. If you want to get your question in early and cut in line and make sure that it gets answered, feel free to look for that post on Wednesdays and get it in. Other than that, guys, I hope that you had a great holiday, a happy new year, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Bye.
guys.